How's it going, folks? How's it going? You already know the waves. We are here for the 5th episode. All right, y'all see that back there on that laptop? It's a little something, something. It's a little something, something. All right, that's just a piece of the game plan for what we gonna talk about. For today and for later on in the week, because chances are I ain't gonna be able to get through all that within today, and chances are I ain't gonna be able to get through that by by Thursday. But you know what, man, it is what it is. I'm not even gonna prolong this. I'm not even gonna extend this out. I'm gonna just flip the camera around. All right, so with that being said, lights, camera, action. Yeah, now we got the star. The star of the show is here. The star of the show is here. All right. And y'all already know, again, it is the 5th episode of the Royal High Table. All right. And what I'm going to tell y'all is this. The one rule. I mean, there might be like some unspecified rules. All right. But the one key, one of the golden rules when you come and you eat at this table right here is that everybody is a king and queen in their own respective rights or whatnot, and something. They own something, whether they know it or not. Now that's a different story. But they own something, right? Hold on, let me make sure. Get this camera right. It still may not be right. Ooh. That's a nice shoot. I done tweaked that very suddenly. It still might not be right. But whatever, alright? But like I said, everybody is a king and queen in their own rights. And to be honest with you, they sort of kind of a god and goddess in their own right. But with that being said, when you come and you eat at this table, you dine out right here, and we get to chopping it up or whatnot, right? You pull up with your crowns, man. We wear that loud and proud. We not hiding nothing. So with that being said, without further ado, allow me to lead the way. Ooh, I almost done knocked this over. I done got my trident sitting right here. It always feels just right. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, I guess sometime later, alright? I'm gonna tell y'all a little story about how I got this particular crown. I ain't paid for it, alright? It might be a Party City crown. It might be a Party City crown. I just know I ain't paid for it. I was given it. Right? And I'll tell y'all a little story about this thing right here. Alright? Now, even again, it's like, these are like props, fake. They can break easily. But they have meaning. Alright? They have some sort of meaning. But I'll get to that some other time. And before, shoot, we got stuff we can get into, but I'm gonna ease my way into it because I'm sort of kind of feeling good. I won't even hold y'all. The first thing that got me feeling good, well, there's a plethora, I ain't gonna go into my finances, but I got paid last week, so that was something. That was something good. Something else that happened. Hey, it's what, 11:22. We just got through having a killer game in Gridiron on World War II. All right, what was the score? The score was about 186-0. All right, to 0. Hold up. Excuse me. All right. What else? I also went shopping yesterday. I went grocery shopping. All right. Got a boatload of food. So I'm happy about that. All right, because I ain't had salad. I got my own strategy for how I like to conserve my money and not splurge out and hold on and main to it or whatnot. I got my own strategies for how I like to eat my dinners, eat my lunch and all that. Being here in college. All right, but yeah, shoot, I done got me some salad, so I'm feeling even better. All right, I ain't been able to eat a little salad. It hasn't been too long, but I wasn't. What's it called? It's been about a week or so. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Just one moment, right? I almost knocked that over. Hold up. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Almost 5 minutes. Alright. Only reason, I ain't gonna hold y'all, only reason why I checked that time, because I didn't want to mess around and just be, what's it called, building up momentum and all that, and then, it'd be about 10 minutes in, and it's like, okay, well, what the hell is this dude talking about? Alright, but you know what? I ain't even. You know what? I'm just feeling good right now. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm feeling good. All right. I got my groceries. I got paid. Classes is going well. Them A's is bro. Them. I mean, hey, hey. I mean, when you the king, that's how. That's just how stuff goes. That's just how it rolls. What else? What else? What else? I got, I'm preparing for an event for my organization that I'm supposed to be hosting. Shout out to my co-chair, Bianca. Shout out to my co-host as well, Joy. Joy Lynn. I'm trying to think, what else? What else? You know what? Let me stop stalling. Let me stop stalling. Because in the last video, right, I said there was one particular question that I came across, right, when I was typing out, okay, this question would be interesting, this topic question, this, all right. I picked out a number of them, but this one right here, it's really, it's really something of interest. And I already made note of this in my previous video, right, the, World War II one. Hell, if y'all watched all the way throughout, I don't know if y'all do. Well, I can find out how, but anyway, this is definitely something that will need to be revisited. All right, but the question that I got, and it came from Conversation Starters. Wow, okay, Conversation Starters World. This intriguing question was, how does your definition of a real man differ from the mainstream definition, of a real man? All right. And this one was really, this one, I won't lie. This is one that I especially taken into account some of the stuff that I've consumed in this sense, meaning like viewed, watched, taken in, listened to, and heard. A lot of stuff has been geared towards, the male female dynamic, obviously men, women, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, all that sort of stuff. I won't even lie, like, it's to the point, like, TikTok, hey, listen, it's all over TikTok. It's all over, at least my TikTok, in it, at least. Shoot, even along with sports on my YouTube feed that I see in the recommendations, suggestions, or would be evident if I showed y'all the history. Along with that is some interesting stuff. Again, regarding what it means to be, just men related things, masculine, all that other sort of stuff, right? And it's a number, it definitely, there's a lot of interesting questions asked, a lot of interesting topics. So many people, so many different so many different thoughts and considerations being put in, input, being, wow, I'm out here just stuttering with my damn words. But in answering this question, the first thing that I had to make note of is, like, what is, like, just, again, obviously the general, what is that general definition of being a real man? All right. And what I typed out, right, just going off of memory, right, like, what it is that people typically think about, and not only that, but I've taken, like, it's about 2 semesters, like, approximately a year ago, right? I took a sociology, a class called Sociology of Marriage and Family. And so, and some of this stuff or whatnot, obviously I had to tap back into that knowledge, but like some ideas or whatnot, there's some things that I just, typed up, in regards to, again, what is involved, what is encompassed within this definition of what it means to be a real man. Some of this stuff that I typed out, it is either it's either what's thought of, not ideally, but what's generally thought of or whatnot. And again, being a real man, whether that be today or or there are some stuff where it was pretty, that's the way how things were back then. But like, and I guess the reason why I added that little part is because the first term that I made note of was chivalry. I don't that as far as chivalry, that's a long discussion and whatnot to be had as to whether or not that still exists. And I guess even to I mean, a lot of things really don't ever go away. It's just to what extent is it still present, and accurately, determining and figuring out, what, to what degree it's present. But another term that is, well, some more terms that, I put down was ambitious, determined, emotionless, level-headed, right? Strength, right? Protector and provider. All right, and there are some of these terms I underlined, some of them I boldened, in a sense, because if to some degree, some of them to some degree I'd agreed with, some of them, not that I didn't agree, but it was just I don't know. I guess in my definition or whatnot, that's not, and not saying that it's not. Not saying that it's not important or it's not included. It's just not a concept or whatnot that's explicitly stated. All right. But one of the terms that I keyed in on, and I added some more input to whatnot, was being a provider. All right. That's one of the terms that, again, I made bold and I underlined. And with that, underneath that, I put owns the most cars, owns the most houses. What else? Owns them, well, not owns, but has, stable jobs, careers, or multiple streams of income. I already said most cars, most houses, obviously most money. And if you don't have the most of those things, but still have a lot of those things. And even in, throwing out, all this has the most, or either they have the most or they have, a good amount of another, I guess, component within this idea, this concept of a real man or whatnot by society's definitions, this obviously, again, not for the entirety of society, but some of them it might be, again, like just how many mates you have, how many girlfriends or whatever that you have. As far as another, like, again, some other terms that I made note of, strength, that was definitely one, but I guess I took a different approach to strength as well, because traditionally, or again, generally speaking, when people take into account, okay, strength, for just that's what men are to have. I think, again, a lot of times they talk about, like, physical strength, right? And my fault, I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Listen, I'm skinny as hell. All right, but so pay that no mind. But yeah, so with that idea of strength or whatnot, it's typically physical strength. Perhaps, again, I don't quite know this for certain, but with the expectations and, again, the thoughts and considerations or whatnot held towards men, that strength extends pretty far, all right? And what I made note of underneath strength, right, I made note of, again, emotional strength, right? So, being strong enough to contain and, hold your emotions, to the extent that, again, one is able to be level-headed, as I mentioned earlier, and make logical and sound decisions. All right. And I think, well, and also even, I guess, even within that description or whatnot, I guess you can throw in mental strength. That's the next term that I made note of. But also, I guess my consideration towards mental strength was being able to in a sense keep yourself in check, right? Not necessarily, like, again, everybody has things that they want to do, right? And particularly things that they want to do that may not be the best for them, or may not be the best for somebody else, that, you know, that might end up having a cost imposed on them, right? But mental strength, the consideration or the regard that I had towards that term was being able to again recognize what's good and what's not, what's beneficial, what is not, what will hurt you, or in the short term, long term, what will hurt someone else in the short term, long term, and being able to, again, make the best decision, whatnot possible. All right. And then I put spiritual strength. I won't lie. I was planning on making note of more strengths, but I think that even that spiritual strength, I made note of it, but that's definitely something that I'd have to give more consideration to as to what that entirely means. But as far as what I agree with, or what the concepts or whatnot that at least I had in mind, being a provider is definitely one, being a protector is another, being level-headed, and being strength, right? And well, not being strength, having strength. Those were four that I sort of kind of saw, and like some other ones that I underlined, but again, like I said, it's not that there isn't consideration placed towards them. It's just that they weren't explicitly stated. It's being ambitious, being determined. But one thing that I will say, just with regard to the question, this may not even entirely address the question, but whenever I recall an instance, right, where I heard you need to be a real man, it's typically like how do I want to word this? The context in which it was used was of or relating to doing something that I would deem, well, not I would, but would go across anything that, that I just talked about, that I just, outlined or whatnot. It would, whenever I've heard that term, again, being a real man is typically, in supporting or endorsing an act that's, I don't know. I'll just keep it, again. I'll speak general, broad as ever. Will ultimately, again, end up imposing a cost on someone, right? Whatever that cost may be. I'm going to keep that very general and broad because, again, there's a plethora of situations that I'm thinking to in my mind, and some mental costs, some emotional costs, some are actually physical costs. But yeah, so that was another thing that I had in mind. That was just being aware of that. That is why I guess even though I made note of what society may think of a real man to have, and what I think of a real man to have, there was a sort of sign of there was a critical sense that I had about it, just because it's like, it's almost, whether it be whether it be through this one particular group or another, you know, sort of kind of like endorsing it, or through whichever actions, you know, stating that this is how men are to be and all that other sort of jazz. I don't know. It just seemed like within that definition of being a real man, like it involved like doing, I don't know, doing some dishonorable stuff as I was about to say earlier, but I tried to hold myself from saying it. But yeah, just, I don't know. It just, I just know this. I just know I had to come up with my own definition. I had to create my own code, my own way that I was going to approach the game being life. But my one thing or whatnot that I put down, or a couple things rather, I'm not just gonna talk about one, but hold on, let me see one thing. All right, I'm gonna get back to it, but okay, damn, look at that, it's almost 21 minutes. But anyway, right? But before I get into my ideas on what I think a real man is, what I will say is, like, I guess how I came about to develop the concepts that I did attribute to you know, that overall, that phrase. I don't know, I was in the process of, again, defining out, okay, well, who is Zachariah White? Again, I've got a pretty good sense of it, you know, especially given how much that I typed out and how much that I set out. But yeah, I was just, again, defining out who is Zachariah White, you know, what is your overall goal or whatnot. Again, what is the White Empire? All right, I won't hold y'all. The only thing that people have seen, well, actually, no, I've mentioned it in plenty of my videos, the White Empire, but it's overall, it's, at this point in mind, as far as the world is concerned or may care about, it's just it's a creation at this point. But when it's all, you know, when we moving on the road, you know, it'll really be an empire. But I was really trying to define what rules are we going to go by? What is it that we do? What is everybody has a way. Every society has a way. Every civilization has a way or ways. Everybody has, again, manners in which they conduct themselves and all that. But what is your way? What are your rules? All right. Again, and I think, again, life is many things, but I think life being, the analogy of life being a game, that is definitely true. And the funny thing is, life is a game, but there's many different within life is just, it's one big ass game, right? But it just so happens that there's so many different mini games that it's hard to keep up. Like there's the mini game of seeing how many girls you can have, of seeing how many cars you can have, how many jobs you can have, how much money you can get, you know, who looks the prettiest, who can put on the most makeup, you know, who can, you know, who's got the most likes on Instagram, who's got the most likes on Twitter, what else, who's got the most games, who's got the most food, who's got the fanciest pool in the backyard, and everybody's got their own way as to how they're going to go about and do things. But overall, the question that I asked myself was, how are you going to go about it and doing things, right? And I guess that's what really caught me when I read this question, was because that question, my response to it is very similar to how, you know, to my response to, so who are we? Who am I? And all that. But for my ideas, I decided, like I named, you know, in my little document that I typed out, the other document is called "What is the Move" and all that, and that's where I started, you know, I went about defining myself, defining the White Empire, all that. But the first mantra that I guess I created or whatnot. I don't quite know if it's new, but it is essentially a phrase that I came up with, and it's a Spanish one, but satisfago lo interna y satisfago lo externa. And essentially what that means is satisfy the internal as well as satisfy the external. Alright, now before I explain that, just one more thing. I'm about to check that time. Alright, don't go nowhere because okay, so I got about a couple more minutes. Okay, so I can explain what it means without, being entirely cut off. But it's actually funny or whatnot that I have this thing here, because this was something that I acquired or whatnot, being a part of a pageant, right? Being a part of a pageant for my organization called the FSU Caribbean Students Association, right? But the reason why I made note of that, my apologies for adjusting the camera, but it was because it was there that I put together those words. Satisfy the external as well as satisfy the external. And in other words, that whole concept was about helping myself, doing whatever it is, succeeding in whichever way that I wanted to, that I thought of when I take into account, when I'm thinking about, okay, well, Zach, what does success look like for you? All right. Go about, achieve success by your standards. All right. This mantra, again, satisfago lo interna y satisfago lo externa, means, again, do what's in your best interest, help yourself, satisfy yourself, serve yourself, all of that. But also at the same time, it is a must that you also help others as well. Maybe there wouldn't need to be a focus on helping others if the world was just you. This is the conversation that I'm having with me. Maybe so. Maybe we wouldn't have to worry about satisfying the external or helping. Don't even think satisfying like on some like slave that type stuff. But it wouldn't even be about helping the external, right? If it was just you in the world. But the fact of the matter is, it's not. And thank the Lord that it's not. It's a bunch of people. But if you really did go about and just doing whatever it is for yourself, and you didn't really help nobody else, there would still be something missing. We are about being great. We're about having an outstanding legacy, building great creations or whatnot, whatever that may be. But we're also about having a profound impact on others, being able to help them also get to where they would like to be. Granted, not everybody wants your help, not everybody deserves your help, but there will come those that you can help. So when that time comes, when the opportunity presents itself or whatnot, you make sure that you take full advantage of it. That's something that that I think in my, that's something that I incorporated, again, to me, what it means to, or that's something that I incorporate in my definition of being a real man, or for me, with I guess this journey of I'm not gonna say self-discovery, of self-definition more than anything, because we're really just putting words to what we already, I said we, I'm really just putting words to what I already feel and what I already know to be the case, what I believe to be the case and whatnot. But